Today in the crypto space, we see the market pretty much going sideways. Bitcoin at 26,200 and Ethereum hovering around that $1,600 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, is waiting for Bitcoin to make a critical decision. Are we going to get a nice bounce to the upside, or are we going to retrace to lower levels so that we can buy those dips? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to give you a quick update on a very bullish project, and that project is Bittensor. TAO is the ticker. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description, but better yet, guys, join the Discord. It's a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look here. What's going on with the general market first? We'll look at the top 100. We'll then look at Bitcoin to see, as a leading indicator, if, what could be happening in the immediate short term, if we do get a nice little bounce, or if we do get a bit more of a dip. Obviously, Bitcoin could definitely influence what we see with regards to altcoins. And of course, finally, we'll take a look at Bittensor TAO, a very, very bullish project. I absolutely like Bittensor. I think TAO is going to have a bright future here in this bull run, given the fact that it embraces decentralization to the maximum. And that's something that I really appreciate. And I obviously focus on projects that embrace that decentralization. And I basically find it to be very, very bullish. All right, let's continue. What else do we have here? We see that Bitcoin's going sideways, Ethereum going sideways, BNB getting a bit of a bounce to the upside, looking okay here, only 1%, but still a bounce is nice. Sideways action everywhere. Tron looking a bit healthy, but although you see it nice and green that way, the movement today hasn't been much. So we got to understand that, maybe this project is taking a bit of a break. Altcoin coming down to lower levels. Overall, what I want you to see is that Altcoin is down approximately 18% in the last 7 days, and probably more if you look at big picture. So this is the opportunity. If you got bullish on TAO when it was rallying up significantly in the last little while, you're getting your opportunity. I'm going to put TAO on the list for tonight's live stream. And of course, what I'm going to be doing is any requests, I'm going to put them in top priority. So feel free to join tonight on the live stream. I take requests with regards to any projects that you're interested in, and we look at TA. We basically come up with plans, figuring out how to capitalize on the volatility. And of course, as we see, the market is pretty much stagnant. So this is the perfect time to actually make strategy, to be prepared, to be ready. Why? Because usually when we get these consolidations, we experience expansion phases, and we might be due for an expansion move very, very soon. And of course, we're going to focus on Bitcoin as a leading indicator to see if Bitcoin makes that expansion move. We're going to see a lot of these altcoins follow its lead. Okay, so as you can see, as I'm scrolling down, you see a lot of these altcoins still going sideways. Nothing that major. Chainlink pulling back a little bit, 2.5% give or take, and you can see that Chainlink actually did pretty well, bouncing to the higher levels. And we were very clear yesterday live. I was very clear that as Chainlink gets to higher levels, you got to start protecting your gains. Why? Because Chainlink respected a range for over 400 days or so, and this means that the likelihood of maintaining that range until Bitcoin makes that decision is probably the best bet. Chainlink might continue going sideways until we see some true volatility into the market. Okay, money flow is what we're looking for. AVAX going sideways, XLM sideways, a lot of sideways in this market. And then you have Maker getting a nice bounce to the upside, 8.4%, looking pretty good. That's pretty good for Maker. At the end of the day, it is going rogue, doing its own thing. Aptos rallied up, and now it's getting its pullback, maybe coming back right back down. A nice deep retracement is possibly due, again, because we are in a transitionary phase into the bull run. We are going sideways, and in sideways price action, just based on its definition, you can expect that the retracements be very, very deep. And with that said, as soon as you see it getting too hot, expect pullbacks, right? Look at Aptos pulling back. Maker should pull back. Obviously, no guarantees here. This thing might keep on going, but I wouldn't mind taking a look at Maker tonight. Obviously, I'm going to put on the list. MKR is the ticker. Maker. We'll put that one on the list. VeChain kind of sloping down approximately 6%. Quant, guys, Quant $85 right now. Okay, Quant fell below the $100 mark. I definitely want to do an update on Quant. I might be doing it tomorrow, or else I'll do it live tonight if that's good. Maybe tonight we'll do Quant. But definitely I'm looking for a dedicated video such as this one that I focus on Quant's TA. Okay, so right now Quant is quite interesting. I wouldn't be rushing into a position right now as it is still falling. Always keep in mind, DCA is the best way to mitigate risk. Don't bet the farm. Don't go in all at once. Slowly scale in and look for horizontal support, and slowly start scaling in based on some sort of indication of, pivot point divergence. That's what you're really looking for. Neo Protocol coming down to lower levels. We have Optimism getting a bit of relief here after a bit of a pullback to the downside. Caspa coming down another approximately 4%, give or take. Caspa could be breaking down, guys. Be careful here with Caspa. It was a great gainer. It's a great project, great fundamentals. But at any sign of weakness, you can imagine that the individuals that bought the bottom are going to want to protect their gains and their initial investment. So be careful here, guys. When things run too hot, that's the time to be protective and get defensive of your gains, right? Algorand rolling over just a bit, and you can see this market is pretty red. IMX 5% to the downside today, not looking the greatest. Theta Network going sideways, looking like it's pretty strong. But in the last little while, maybe about a year, maybe even right after even the previous bull run, to be honest, I had high expectations for Theta, and it really didn't meet them. Let's put it that way. It didn't meet my expectation. I did very well with Theta early on, but then after that I kind of put it on the back burner. Unfortunately, I don't think it's developing enough. The overall project is not the ecosystem is not moving fast enough for me to consider it a contender. So at the end of the day, Theta looking good for today, but nonetheless I'm not that interested, unfortunately. Elrond, EGLD coming down, Radix, XRD with their upgrade. Looking pretty good. A little bit of bullishness today, a bit of sideways price action. We know that Radix did very well early on, and then it did get that pullback. So this is all about the news, trading the upgrade, but then true value is actually going to kick in, and I'm curious as to what's going to happen there for Radix. Are we going to hold up in support? Are we going to make a lower low? So this is why I'm slowly going to start deploying into Radix as I see confirmations after this news. I don't want to be buying into the hype and then have the market come back down on me. I want to get true value, and I'm going to be patient for that true value. And as we keep on coming down here, we see sideways, and we see render. We see render coming down to lower levels, $1.48. It's down approximately 8% in 7 days, guys. I'm going to let this thing fall. If it keeps on coming down, I'll be buying the dip at about $1.20. And based on yesterday's, observations, yesterday's TA, guys, it's very possible that render comes down even further. That's the reality. I'm as a momentum trader, it's very hard for me to put targets as far as price targets. The reason why is that I want the momentum to show me the fact that the bears are done pushing the price down on render, and I have yet to really see that. I don't really see that confirmation. I don't have the conviction that the bears are done, and in fact, until that, I am not going to be deploying heavy capital. I'm going to be waiting very patiently to see a full indication that the bears are exhausted and that the bulls want to step in and get a response. And that's the reality. I'm bullish on render, but I'm very patient as well. What else do we have here? A lot of sideways, a few dips here and there. We have Frax share looking pretty strong, up approximately 5%. But as we keep on going, guys, lots of red today. Terra Luna Classic waking up just a little bit. But generally speaking, guys, lots of sideways price action. Nothing that interesting. Guys, that's unfortunate, but this is the time where we should be thinking about plans going forward. DCing, making sure you have some capital left on the side to buy the dips if we do come down. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. We'll begin our analysis using Bitcoin as a leading indicator. If Bitcoin tells us that the market is coming down, that Bitcoin's coming down, just ask yourself, how is that going to affect altcoins, particularly based on this video, TAO, Bittensor. At the end of the day, we can see that Bitcoin did get a bit of a rejection here at the volume gap. This empty spot, the bottom of the volume gap, gave the price a bit of a rejection point, and we see that the momentum is going sideways, and we see that the MACD is rolling over. Guys, what does this mean? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Okay, so based on the daily, to be honest, I'm still with the conviction. I have a lot of conviction that right now we are in the chop zone, and it is very risky to expect a quick continuation without a consolidation, and an indication that maybe the 4-hour got fully reset to oversold conditions and enter a position based on the 4-hour. I will not be entering fresh new positions based on the daily as we see it. As long as it's in the chop zone, the RSI is in the chop zone, I'm not interested. So let's quickly get into the 4-hour. You can see that based on the strategy, we did roll over and we got a bearish divergence here, and we got fully oversold. So now we're talking. Now I want to zoom in just a little bit here on the 4-hour and look at these two bottoms, or these two attempts, these two drives to the downside. It's very clear that we're getting a bit of divergence right here, downward sloping price action, and then upward sloping momentum on the MACD. Okay, but I'm going to zoom in here on the MACD just a little bit, and you can see that the MACD is very indecisive, especially right now in the last few candles here, the last few 4-hour candles. You can see a lot of indecision, and look at the EMA, very indecisive. So for me, that tells me, look, this could be a massive fake out. This could be, a liquidity grab, a whipsaw type of move, up and down real quick type of thing. But if you look at the RSI and you see the bullish divergence on the MACD, you see that the volume is contracting. And the fact that RSI went already oversold, it's very likely that we might get a bit of a bullish response right here, and maybe test the previous high, which again is at the bottom of the volume gap. This empty space of volume, looking left, zero price action, which that means that if we break out again with some more bullish bids down here that we are basically looking for, some more bullishness down here, we might now have enough momentum to break out of this previous historical resistance. And because we don't have supply and demand here, we can snap real quick to about 28,900, give or take. And that's a very possible thing, okay? Especially if you start looking at the 4 hours oversold and the daily is still hovering around the chop zone, and it could be looking for a full reset to overbought territory. That's the fact, right? It's very possible that we get there. Now, the MACD on the daily, again, look at this. This looks bearish, especially if we get that EMA cross and we start building a red histogram bar to the downside. It's not looking good. And you can see these mixed signals right now is probably the reason why there's no conviction in the Bitcoin price. I barely have any conviction. I'm a 50-50 right now. It could go up, it could go down. And those are not good odds for Bitcoin. Those are not good odds for a trader, right? You want to have an edge. You want to have some sort of edge so that you can, with a bit of confidence, because confluence gives you confidence, of course. With a bit of that confidence, you can get into a trade with a healthy risk to reward ratio. Right out on the daily, we're in the chop zone. Going long based on the 4 hour is still viable, but you get in and you get out, especially when the daily starts getting overbought. You want to make sure that you mitigate your risk by taking a bit of capital off the top and reducing your position size. All right, guys, let's take a look at TAO. Bittensor TAO, bullish AI project. I did a deep dive earlier on. If you missed out on that deep dive, go check it out. Where's my deep dive? Somewhere around here, guys. I did a deep dive on Bittensor TAO. I do right here. Go check it out. Deep dive. I think that if you're interested in this project, this video is for you. It'll definitely give you a quick rundown of all the information that you need to get fundamentally bullish on Bittensor. I like it. Obviously, I like it. It was good. I'm waiting for the perfect opportunity to deploy some fat capital, but I'm waiting for the retracements. At the end of the day, we've had a good retracement here on Bittensor DAO. We came down to a good level of horizontal support. We got a nice sign of bullish divergence in oversold conditions, which is nice. And we got a nice reaction to the upside, which is epic. This is exactly what we need in order to build a bit of confidence. However, guys, the daily is great. We are entering the chop zone. Okay, we're entering the 50% mark. Yes, it could potentially continue without even a hesitation. It's possible, but historically speaking, whenever we get to this zone, even you can look at other projects that kind of get from oversold to overbought to oversold. They kind of take a bit of a break in between. at the chop zone in the 50% mark, and they go sideways, 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 sideways. Now we are pretty much here. Okay, and if you look at what Bitcoin is doing a very similar thing. It got into the chop zone in the 50% mark on the daily, and it's likely that we get a bit of a pullback here. Now, based on the daily, no fresh longs. I don't think it's a great time to get into a fresh long right now, because not only did we impulse really high, but we got rejected at the top of this volume gap almost twice. If you zoom in a little bit, the volume gap was respected twice, almost twice. For sure, once with that wick, quick sell-off, and then almost another attempt with a lower high, quick sell-off as well. But nonetheless, if you bought the dip down here with this green arrow, right, you're in a net positive scenario, and at this level, you see you're at the top of the volume gap. You need to start protecting your gains. You need to say, look, I bought here and now I'm up here. What should I be doing? The daily's not giving it to you. In fact, the daily's saying that we're going to get overbought, and it's very likely, but is this the right time to scale in? The only way to get that conviction with the best entry is to get into lower time frames, because we're in the chop zone right now. It's a very scary time to have to hold within a consolidation. You want to at least get into oversold conditions on the 4 hour. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. But before I go on, what I want to do is make a measurement from this arrow to where we are right now. You're up 8%. It's not huge, but at least you're up. Okay, that's the reality. And if you happen to get in on this bullish divergence, we were covering this live a couple videos ago, and I did cover it on the deep dive. Go check that out. This was a great time based on a bullish divergence and a confirmation low, a higher low. That's what you actually need. This was the time to take a bit of risk, and of course that's why I have that green arrow there right around this zone. Okay, point of control was there. Lots of good confluence to give us confidence. So let's go into the 4 hour. The 4 hour obviously is a great opportunity for us to find a oversold scenario based on the current price action. We did create a higher high here, and that's very clear that we created a higher high, but we are also creating higher highs on the RSI. No sign of bearish divergence on the daily. So this kind of bothers me, because look, we could continue staying up here for the next little while, and the MACD is looking pretty good. No sign real of weakness as we speak. EMAs are still facing up nice and open. We have green histogram bars to the upside. Yeah, some might say, look, we're getting pale histogram bars, but you know, look what happened here. All right, pale histogram bars, but we continue. As long as these EMAs remain open, you know, there's a high possibility that we get another impulsive move to the upside and maybe reach this level. We might see the EMAs get up to this level, which is very possible. Okay, so in this case, what we're doing is, you know, you're taking a bit of a chance on the 4 hour to get in right now, because we're overbought. We're overbought on the 4 hour, and the daily's in the chop zone. The ideal entry right now, especially on the 4 hour, it would be to see the 4 hour fully reset. Let it come down again. If it comes down, that would be a great risk reward opportunity to get in, knowing that you're buying low, not high. If you get in right now, you're running the chance that you're buying the tops and you could get rejected. Look how we kind of respected the top of this volume gap, almost literally to the cent. Okay, and this is what's concerning me, is that as soon as we start hesitating around here on the 4 hour, we might be seeing signs of bearish divergence and showing signs of weakness from the bulls, and then eventually the bears start kicking in and coming down. It's all about risk. Now, you might be looking at, is this a pattern? You know, is it a cup and handle? I think that this retracement's way too deep to be considered a cup and handle. But then one might say, well, this could be a massive cup, right? Nice rounded top, bottom type of thing with a nice divergence, maybe a consolidation right here, and then finally a breakout. It could be. But until we get that data, until the price charts show us this information, the likelihood of a rejection is still there. And this is why you need to get defensive and protect those gains if you're up a little bit. Okay, even if it's 8%, in this case, you always want to think a certain portion of your portfolio, if you are a trader, needs to be traded on the lower time frames. It needs to be a short-term spot position. Okay, I'm not saying to exit your entire positions. I'm saying allocate a portion of your position for short-term trades, so you can get in and you can get out, and that way you can try to capitalize on volatility both up and down. And that's the way you pack a bag for the next bull run, is by trading your way to bigger positions. Okay, overall. Now, if you look at the 1 hour, which, guys, you know, I don't even trade the 1 hour very often at all, in fact, but I want to keep it in mind because we're not really getting a really strong edge on the 4 hour for a divergence, a bearish divergence. The daily is still in the chop zone, so no trade zone for me. But ultimately, even the daily, the 1 hour right now, we can see higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI, a bit of divergence, the MACD facing down, EMAs and red histogram bars. It could be a 1 hour pullback and getting down to the point of control at about $54 $10, give or take. That might be your next impulsive move to the downside based on the 1 hour. But overall here, guys, the 4 hour overbought, maybe looking for bearish divergence data building here on the RSI and the MACD, nothing just yet. And the dailies in the chop zone, in my opinion, getting into a fresh long is a bit dangerous. Wait for a slight pullback and then maybe a continuation to the upside where we hit maybe the golden pocket 618 or the top of this trend line might be due. All right, guys, that's my take here on Bittensor DAO. It's a really bullish project. However, guys, we need to be able to ride these ebb and flows to capitalize on volatility. If you appreciate what I offered you here in this video, do the channel a huge favor, slap the like button. And if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Guys, join live tonight at 7:30 Eastern. You could request any projects that you're interested in. Of course, there's a lot of bullish projects nowadays, and we need to stay one step ahead of the market, and the best way to do that is as a community. Take care, guys. See you tonight. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.